Welcome to the weekly Zohar connection. This portion is called Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah. The weekly Zohar connection is a cosmic energy available, and through the Torah reading and through the decoding the Torah portion, the Zohar, we find energy and blessing and consciousness and wisdom to go through the week. This portion called Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah, and right after the first sentence is talking about the death of Sarah and the burial of Sarah. So there is a contradiction here. It's like exactly the opposite. How come the name of the portion is life, and then the portion is talking about death? So the subject of this class tonight is blessings, how we can attract blessings, financial, relationship, health, happiness to ourselves. And through the secrets of this portion, we're going to find out how we can attract those blessings. And then also there is a section about the meeting of Isaac and Rebecca, the true soulmates that we know in the Torah. So we're going to learn about true love. We're going to learn about true soulmates. So this class we're going to divide it into three portions. We're going to talk about life and death, and then we're going to talk about attracting blessings to ourselves, the blessings that belong to us, and then we're going to talk about soulmates and true love according to the Zohar. You know, in psychology, in the level of psychology, they always tell us to be positive, to feel good, to talk good, and that's how we're going to change our life to better. And that's fine, but you know, honestly, we all know that. To be happy, to be positive, to feel good. But we have days, you know, come on, you know, none of those words work for us. We have tough days, we have difficult days. And none of those words or ideas work for us. That's why we need the Kabbalah and the wisdom of the Zohar. That to have that positivity, to have that goodness and health and happiness, endless. No more upside downs, no more one day is good, one day is bad. How we can have it permanently? How we can reach that level that all I see is good, all I say is good, I feel good. So how this portion is going to help us is by talking about death and life, being dead or being alive. So don't forget, we are in the book of Bereshit, we are at the beginning of the Torah. This is the book of the creation. It's talking about the universe, it's talking about us, it's talking about the foundation of our life. In different books we talk about we have different consciousness. Right now in the book of Bereshit, we are building, it's a new year, we are building a new consciousness. We are building a new way of thinking, a new way of behavior. So we are in the book of Bereshit, we are in the book of creation. How can I create a better year for myself? The Torah stories are very juicy and very nice, but we're going to go behind the stories. We're going to try to decode the stories and understand the wisdom behind it. So, you know, right away the first secret we learned that the name of the portion is life, and then it's talking about death. And the other hint the Torah gives us, there is a small cough in the word of crying. In the word of crying, when Avraham cried for Sarah. No, it's here. So when the Torah is talking about Avraham crying for Sarah, that she passed on, there is a small kuf in the word crying. And the Zohar explained to us that Avraham cried a little bit, just a little bit for passing of his wife, his love of his life, his soulmate. And I read something amazing from Ari this week, so I'm going to share it with you also. So the first hint is the name of the book, The Life of Sarah. The second hint is Avraham cried a little bit. And then also the Zohar is speaking amazingly about passing of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar. The Zohar is, they call it Zohar HaKadosh, is the most powerful tool that we have to understand our life. Is the most powerful, is a holy language for life. And the author of it, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, imagine, he's the one that wrote the Zohar. He's the one that had this conscious and wisdom. And he carried this wisdom with him. And the Zohar is talking about his passing day. The last word that he said. Can you imagine the author of the Zohar, that for 2,000 years we're studying it and we're going to study it for another thousands of years? What would he say? What would be his last word? So after all this knowledge, after all this wisdom, he studied with Moshe Rabbeinu, he studied with Eliyahu Nabi, so much wisdom, so much knowledge. And the day of his passing, the last word that he would say, what would it be? The Zohar described that moment that, all his students gathered. There was a huge fire, it was such a huge soul. He was smiling, laying down on his right side. And the last word that he said was, because, at those moments, according to Kabbalah, 30 days before somebody passes away, he's already between the two worlds. So he's already seeing, he's already feeling the other side. So right before he left, he says, life, and there is nothing but life. So the guy is passing away, he's passing on. He says, I see only life. There is nothing but life in this world. Chaim. There's nothing with life, with Chaim in this world. So, there are so many hints about life and death in this portion. And the Kabbalists, the Zohar, explained to us that life and death come in many different levels of understanding. We are so attached to this physical world that, when somebody passed on, we think it's the end of it. And it's not. And in reality, there is no end. In our limited perception, we think everything from beginning to end. There is a beginning and there is an end. But in a spiritual world, there is no end. It's cycles. It's all cycles. The Sefirot are cycles. The years are cycles. Everything is cycles. The Torah is cycles. There is no end. Like Fatima June says on her Monday class, we have day and night. Right now it's dark outside. So we think it's dark, but in reality, is it dark? The sun is still shining. So the sun never stops shining. It's just our perception, because of our position, we think it's night. But it's day. It's daytime. There's nothing by day. There's nothing but light. So the hint that the Torah want to give us is life is forever. Life is forever, there is no end. And it's very strange. The name of the portion is Chayei Sarah, but the Torah starts with the word Vayehiu. Vayehiu doesn't have, in Hebrew, doesn't have a solid meaning. It means, and it was, and it was in the future. But the Kabbalists explain to us that the numerical value of the word Vayehu is 37, and then they find out that it means Cheta Chava. Cheta means the mistake, the correction of Chava. So the Kabbalists explain to us that the only purpose of Sarah in this world was to correct the life of Chava. So if you add up the numerical value, Chava is 19 and Chetam is 18. Together is 37. So again, we are in the book of Bereshit, and it want to teach us the rules and the laws of this universe, and it's already giving us a hint about reincarnation. That there is no end. There is reincarnation and incarnation. Sarah was a spark of Chava doing the correction, and we know down the road Sarah becomes Esther Amalka. Again, she comes and to help the humanity. And of course, she had a spark in Rebecca and Rachel and Leah. Are we within 10 minutes? So we're going to say thank you to our Facebook viewer. They can watch the rest on eresculturecenter.org. Thank you. So it's the Torah is already giving us a hint about reincarnation. Don't be so sad. Don't be so angry or misunderstanding about the law of the universe. There is no end. There is no end. And it's teaching us that Sarah came to correct Chava. We are here to correct, ourselves, or our grandparents and fathers and ancestors, and maybe all the way back to also Adam and Chava. So the first rules that Torah want to teach us for being happy, for being positive, to attract blessing, is to establish this understanding that there is no death, there is no end. We are in society, some people are so greedy, or we become so attached, and we forget about love and humanity and brotherhood and sisterhood, because we think the end is coming, so I need to grab as much as I can. And the Torah says no. There is no end. And whatever we do now, we're going to pay for it later. If it's good deeds, so we're going to receive rewards. And if it's bad, we're going to pay for it later. You remember before the class, the Zohar this week talks about the book of life and the book of death. That there are two angels in a cemetery that they're holding these books. The book of life, that means that those people are still alive. That, they have an effect. They have a effect and energy, and they're coming to help, and they're useful, and they're alive. And the book of death is for the naughty list. Those people that are done so much wrong that they don't have no use anymore in this world, and are truly dead. So, and also Zohar says, we know a lot of people in our life that they don't have no effect in our life. They don't have no influence on us. They don't do any good. So according to the language of the Kabbalah, they're considered dead. And we have some parents and grandparents and ancestors that they passed on from this physical life, but they're very involved in our life. We dream about them, we guide them, they give us inspirations, they come to our visions. Most of the time we're not aware of it, but they're pretty involved in our life. So, it's not only about life and death, it's about end of a business, end of a relationship. Maybe we have a health challenge. It doesn't mean it's the end. It doesn't mean that there is no way out. And the sadness and our wrong perception of the end, it's harm us, it's destroy our life. You know how much I don't like, talking about, funerals, because it really doesn't exist. It brings sadness to our life. We are asking for blessing, we are asking for love and kindness from the Creator, but if you're deep involved in death and end and sadness, and I don't have a job, I don't have a business, I don't have a house, that the light stop shining on us. So the lesson of this portion, Chayei Sarah, and I have few friends that this is their portion, it's, don't believe, there is no end. One of the secrets of this month of Cheshvan, the four letters is Vav, Hey, Yud. The light comes in the end. So it's teaching us, doesn't matter what you go through, doesn't matter the challenge, the obstacle, the health issue. God forbid, after 120 years, we lose somebody, He says, don't worry, the light is coming later on. So it's going to be good. So the character of the light of the Creator is only good and happiness. If we see death, if we see end of something, if we see darkness, how that light gonna come to us? I'm gonna repeat it because I want you to pay attention. Two similar energies attract each other. The light of the Creator, the blessing we are looking for, its character is only good, positive, happy, and joy and love. If I don't have those energies within me, I cannot attract any blessing to myself. That's why the second point was that Avraham cried just a little bit, because he was well aware of the universe law, that there is no end. And this time I was reading the Ari's book. I spoke to a few of you before. We said, I always mention in our practice, there is no sadness, there is no sugvari, there is no qam. We don't stay sad for the whole year after we're losing someone after 120 years. We only have to do the 7 days. This time when I read Ari's book, Ari says it's even not 7 days, it's supposed to be 3 days only. Ari says we have to cry for 3 days, and from the other 4 days we have to talk and remember and speak about that person. So even the 7 days of the Shiva that we are required to be sad, he says, oh no, only 3 days you're supposed to be sad. The other 4 days, you just talk about the person. So look at Ari. I mean, he's our teacher. I mean, he's such a wisdom, the master of Kabbalah. When he say only 3 days, they knew about the rules of this universe. The sadness and the crying and the depression, it's bring harm to us and our family. There was another aspect I forgot to tell you guys in this portion. It's a known fact that Isaac didn't attend his mother's funeral. He was studying Torah. So, can you imagine, as Isaac lost his mom and he didn't attend the funeral. He was studying Torah. And Isaac is the father of all humanity. And why he was studying Torah? The the Kabbalist, the Ari says, even the 3 days we are crying is not because we are crying for losing a person. We are crying that because we lost a light, we lost a blessing, we lost an energy that we need to replace it. So Isaac didn't attend his mother's funeral. He says, I'm not going to do any good by doing that. I'm going to study Torah. I'm going to learn to replace the light that the family and the world lost. So Sarah, she had this huge light with herself. So when she died, the light was gone. So Isaac, he realized it. He says, I'm going to study Torah and I'm going to try to replace the missing light. So the hint is that, nothing in this physical world gonna bring us blessing unless, we connect to this light. In the other language, the 7 Sefirot, I'm gonna explain more. The blessing we are looking for is not within the physical world. The blessing we are looking for is within the spiritual world. There is a famous sentence in the Zohar. I'm gonna share it with you guys, so you can read it at home too. It says, the only possession we want is a possession that you cannot buy and sell it. The only possession that is a blessing for us is a possession that we cannot buy and sell. Example, a friend. Can you buy a friend? A love. Can you buy love? So, kindness. This is the 10 Sefirot. Can you love kindness? Can you buy kindness and love? Can you buy being a gibor, being a hero? To stop your negativities. Beauty from the heart. Tiferet, you cannot buy it. Bitachon and certainty you cannot buy. Shalom, being in peace, having a aramesh. Can you buy that? And emet, the truth. Can you buy truth? And the last one is joy and happiness. Can you buy joy and happiness? So unfortunately, in this physical world that we live in, we're constantly looking for physical possessions, properties and money and beauty. But in reality, the Zohar says the only possession, the only thing we should be after is the possessions that you cannot buy and sell. We have to learn and earn it. And the last point of Rabbi Shimon, that he says there is nothing but life. He saw through the end of time that there is nothing but the light of the Creator. There's nothing but those energies we just spoke. We all know the saying that we cannot take anything with ourselves, but we're going to take all these possessions that we earn, the love and kindness, to the next life, to the next incarnation. So it teaches us that we come here to correct the past life. So the biggest investment we can do is to invest in these possessions that we're going to have it in the future for ourselves and for our families. I'm not saying that we shouldn't go after the physical world, but there have to be a balance. We have to inject this spirituality in our everyday life. And now we're going to get to the second point of the class. So the first point was, in order to attract blessing to ourselves, we have to realize there is no end. Somebody hit our car from in the back. I know we get sad for a few moments, but I don't want to ruin my day. I don't want to ruin my week. There is no end. I'm going to fix the car. I'm going to get a new car. we lost a business, God forbid, and we're changing our jobs. There is no end. In order to attract blessings, we are moving from one good thing to another good thing. If you remember last year class, the Zohar teach us, forget about that you own anything in this world. And honestly, we don't own anything. You remember last year class, we said we are the manager. We are the manager of this body. We are the manager of our money. We are the manager of our business and house. We are not the owners. So the owners always, they're so nervous. If you go to our boss at job, they're always so nervous. How much money we make? How much we going to sell? How many damages? But the manager doesn't care. He comes to his job and he goes home. So we are the manager of our life. We don't want to be attached to anything. The attachment brings separation from the blessings we deserve, and it's ours. Now the second point that we're going to talk about. The Torah talks about Avraham looking for a place to bury his wife. And that's in Hebron, Ma'alat HaMachpelah, where Avraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Adam Arishon and their wives are there. And it actually goes back to the last portion when the angels came to visit Avraham. He was chasing this goat, and he find this cave. That he entered the cave and he saw light within the cave, and then he saw Adam and Chava. And then he realized this is the gateway to heaven. And this is a special place. And Adam told him, this is where you should be buried. That was 37 years before the actual story of today, that Sarah passed on. So through all these years, he knew about the place, but he didn't make a move. And why he find that place? Because he went through all the process of the circumcision, purifying himself, changing himself that we talked about last class. He gave up his ego. He was full of kindness, but he learned how to balance himself. He got through the bondage of his son. So he had to go through so much in order for him to see this special place, special cave. By the way, this cave is a very special place. It's the connection between the spiritual world and the physical world. Whoever that, we heard stories about had a clinical death and they see a tunnel with the light in the end of it, this is the place. This is the Ma'alat HaMachpelah. Every soul goes through this cave, Ma'alat HaMachpelah in Hebron in Israel. So the clinical death that people experience and they see a tunnel with the light in the end, this is the place. So the question is, and then Avraham approached the owner of that land. His name is Ephron. He says, I want to buy this land. Ephron says, are you serious? You want to buy this dirt, ugly? You cannot grow anything here. There is no agriculture. There is no water here. And Avraham says, yes, I want to buy it. And he sold it to him 400 shekel. It's a very small amount of money. So the question is that if Avraham saw the cave, saw Adam and Chava, how come Ephron didn't see the cave and Adam and Chava? It's the same physical location. And the answer is that, after Avraham changed himself, he transformed himself. We learned in the past classes through all the changes and elevating and studying and purifying himself and get rid of what's bad in him, and he controlled his astrological side. He was not under the stars' influence anymore. He was in control of his life. He could see. We have a real estate agent here, so she knows, there is a property for sale. Some people come, no, I don't like it, it's not for me, there is no potential, nothing's good is here. And one guy come and he says, wow, this is a jewel, I buy it, and he create the most beautiful, shopping center out of it, right? So how come some of us see certain things and some of us don't see certain things? How come? Is it a vision? Is it a feeling? Is it understanding? Because you're smart? Because you're a good businessman? So how come Ephron, he owned that land for so many years, he couldn't see the cave, he couldn't see Adam and Chava? And he sold it so cheap to Avraham? The answer that the Zohar gives us, that we're going to read, is that cave belonged to Avraham. That building belonged to that person that's going to buy it. It's nothing have to do with how smart you are. It's nothing have to happen with the vision you have, how good businessman you are. It's belonged to you. It's yours. So each of us have his own portion. Farsi is a great language, very Kabbalistic language. Qismat. So, all of us, each of us, has something that belongs to him. We don't have to fight for it. We don't have to be genius. We don't have to have millions in order to buy it.
It comes to you.
It's yours. It doesn't come to you. It's yours. But we don't see it. There is this black veil. The Zohar says Avraham was walking by he find the cave when he was 99 years old. He couldn't see the cave when he was 50 or 60 or 70 or 80. He was passing by there every day. But he haven't earned that spiritual eyesight. He haven't earned that he haven't earned the zuchut to see the place. It was belonged to him, but he have to earn it. So, we have so much blessing waiting for us. There is so much that belongs to us. We think we have to fight and work harder and, work 7 days a week and invest and fight for our life. No, that's not true. The only fight we have to have is to cleanse ourselves, to change ourselves, to remove this negativity, to become kinder, nicer, more love, in order for us to see what's belonged to us. What's belonged to us comes to you in such an easy way. They serve it to you in a silver platter, like the American says. What's belonged to you comes to you in a very easy way. But it's not by me working hard in a physical world, it's by me to cleanse myself from inside out. Remember, I remind you, the light of the Creator is nothing but goodness and righteousness. So it goes only to the good and righteous place. So Avraham passed by there so many times, but he haven't reached that level of spirituality to see what's belonged to him. And later on, we're going to talk about love and soulmate. It's the same subject. And then Avraham, he bought the place, and because the Zohar says it was belonged to him. It was his. It was his from the first day of the creation. But he had to reach that level of spirituality. He had to elevate himself to a righteous person in order for him to earn it, to receive it. Let's read from the Zohar that talks about this subject. We are in book number 4, page number 66, section 103. Book number 4, page number 66, section 103. Whoever doesn't have the Zohar, it's okay, just listen to it. to the Aramaic word. We're going to read the Zohar with this consciousness that that whatever belong to us, whatever is belong to us, going to come to us. We are in book number 4, page number 66, section 103. So don't cross your legs, don't cross your hands. You know, by reciting the Aramaic words, we want to attract all the blessings that belong to us to come to us. But that's going to happen only when we decide to change ourselves, to change what's bad in me, what's selfish in me. The Kabbalists give us a very simple formula how to change ourselves. You know, we all have desires to receive, but we have to change it from desire to receive for self alone to desire to receive in order to share. So, if we learn a wisdom, I want to share it. If I have this body, I want to do something good with it for other people. If I have blessings of sustenance, I want to share it. So the simple formula to change ourselves is constantly to remind ourselves, to change ourselves from self to desire to receive for self alone to desire to share. Tachazai, I Efron hava chamai b'ma'arata, ma hava chami Avraham ba, lo yazbin la la'olamin, ela vadai lo chama ba velo klum. דהאו ליד מילה את גליה, אלא למעריה, ובנכך לאברהם את גליה, ולא לעפרון. לאברהם את גליה, דאלה הובה לעפרון, לא הבד את גליה ליה. דלה הובה ליה חולקה ביה, ובכנכך לא את גליה לעפרון כלום, ולא הווה חמי אלא חשוכה, ועל דה זבין לה. Come and behold, if Ephron had seen in the cave what Avraham saw, he would never have sold it. But because Ephron saw nothing in it, as nothing is revealed except to its owner. I'm going to repeat. As nothing is revealed except to its owner. It was revealed to Avraham only and not to Ephron. It was revealed to Avraham because it was his and not Ephron. For Ephron had no share in it. Therefore, Ephron saw nothing in the cave. He saw only darkness, and therefore he sold it. You know, how many times, you know, you wonderful student, you come to this class, you come here with love, and I'm sure, you know, you think about this class, because this class belong to you. It is your class. Why in Shabbat we feel that way toward the Torah? Why the moment we see the Torah we lose ourselves? Because the Torah belongs to us. You know, why we love certain friend? Because that friend belong to us. You know, why we feel so attractive to certain people, and some people they just pass by through our life like nothing. Because those people that we are so attractive to them, they belong to us. Very soon we're going to get to the soulmate part. So, you know, the moment, you know, we come to this Kenisa, you know, we feel so good on Shabbat, on every day, because these places belong to us. Something, the Zohar says, something that doesn't belong to you is dark. There is no feeling. There is no attraction. It's not mine. But something's belong to you, you see the light within it. You feel good, all your body, every chemicals of your body, you know, is glowing. So, you know, the purpose of this class is to elevate ourselves to the consciousness that there is no end, there is no sadness. Not everything outside of the world belong to me. There is certain things that belong to me that going to bring me the happiness and health and success. It's not me chasing, you know, something from the outside. I have to cleanse from the inside in order what's belong to me is going to come to me. The Zohar also talking about desires. He says the Zohar talking about on everyday life we have these desires. We desire so much. We desire health, happiness, financial, money, and we just talk about certain things belong to us in the society or where we live, or the way we communicate, or our eyes see the world is like, I want to have everything and I want a lot of everything. We have this huge desire. But the Zohar explained to us there's two types of desires. There's a desire for my soul, and there is a desire that comes out of lackness, out of lack, void. It says, whatever you desire for your soul is wonderful. This is where you're going to find your blessings. And whatever desires we have that comes out of lack is not only is not good for us, it's actually harm us. So, if I have desire for a lot of money and I feel like I have a lack, that I don't have enough, that desire is wrong. Because again, the light of the Creator don't come to a void place, doesn't come to a place that there is a lack. Lack in Farsi kambud. So we know a lot of humble people that are not wealthy at all, and they're so happy and they're so relaxed and they're so peaceful. They have all these qualities because they don't have the desire to achieve more and more and more from the outside. And if the desire that we have come out of lack is like a hole with no end, it never gets full. Never gets full. We all know people that they're after sustenance, they're never happy, never reach to the point that they say, I have enough. If the desire comes out of lack, you can never be fulfilled. You can never be full. But if the desire comes out of soul, what does that mean that my desire comes out of soul? That means, I have it all. I have it all. And, I want to do good, actually. I want to help others. I want to be channeled. And then that's how we receive more. We always say, if you're looking for sustenance, give it tzedakah, give money away. Why? Because you have to be the channel of something. You have to have money in order to receive more money. If you're constantly complaining, I don't have money, so we have a lack. There is a void. The light of the Creator won't come to a void place, to a place there is a lack. So life is wonderful, life is good, we are healthy, we are happy, we have it all, but we want to help the humanity. We want to be a good student of Kabbalah. We want to influence others. We want to do good for others. That's the right desire to have in order to receive our blessings. Avraham, he was 99 years old, sick. He had a surgery, the hottest day of the year. He ran to serve other people. That's how you find the cave. That's how you find his blessing. If we all the time in the mood of giving, in the mood of sharing, if I'm not so deep into my problems and defects and darkness and ego and all the negative feelings, then I can see and receive my blessings. There are few examples for what desire a soul should have. Is certainty and proactive and fulfillment and giving and feel safe and peace and to be calm. This is the desires we should have. I'm going to repeat: certainty, proactive, fulfillment, giving, feeling safe, peace, and calm. What are the desires that come out of lack and void? Reactive, influenced by others, looking for recognition, looking for respect, having fear all the time, no clarity, and people's opinion is important to me, and I don't want people to judge me. That comes out of lack. When there is lack, there is no light of the Creator. And we spoke about it so many times. We spoke about it last week too. We're always looking toward outside. I'm looking for my blessings outside. I'm looking for my soulmate outside. I'm looking for money, sustenance, health. It's not outside. Everything we want is within ourselves. All the health, all the happiness, all the success, everything is belong to me, is come from our inside. We just have to remove this dark veil that make us not see what's belong to us. We have one more subject about soulmates, and then we're going to be done with the class. Before we're going to move to that section, I wanted to share with you guys a lesson from Talmud and Sefirot, amazing lesson. Every year we're going to move forward. I don't want to talk about the last year. It's not the stories of the Torah, it's how deep we go into understanding and learning Kabbalah. We know computers. The original computers, they started and they're still running by one formula, 0 and 1. The whole computer, all your phones, all the emails you receive, all the pictures we see, all the stream videos, we're talking to relatives in the cross of the planet, all the news, all the laugh, everything we see in these computers and your phone come from 0 and 1. We forgot about it, because we are so advanced now. But like when the computer started, the DOS language was 0 and 1. 0 means that the door is closed, and 1 means the door is open. Either the electricity goes through a certain circuit or it doesn't go through a certain circuit. So everything we see is a combination of 0 and 1. How many combinations there's possibilities? It's endless, zillion combinations, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, or 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. There's endless combinations that you can create all the everything we see in the computers. Can you imagine how powerful that is, that 0 and 1? And in Kabbalah language they call it mati velo mati. We talked about it last year also. In English they said to be or not to be. In Farsi yeki bud yeki nabud. It's not by accident. This is all from Kabbalah. So 0 and 1 is to be or not to be, and yeki bud yeki nabud. So can you imagine all the power, all the energy? Our life is so dependent on these computers now come from 0 and 1. Now imagine a different computer that have 7 factors, not only 0 and 1. This master computer that has 7, not only 2. That computer is our universe. And those formula is the 7 Sefirot. Can you imagine how many combinations we can have if this is on and this is off and on and off and on and off? It's with the 2, 0 and 1, look what the human created, these amazing computers. By the way, it's the human created because it exists in the upper world. So now imagine the Creator created a universe, a world that has 7 factors, not 2 factors. Look at all the combinations. So what does it mean that you have 0 and 1s? We can have a life that the judgment is on and the chesed is off, so we go through difficulties. Imagine a life that the kindness and the love is on and the judgment is going to be off. And the same way with Tiferet and the Emet and the happiness. By the way, all the Sefirot are good, even the Gevurah is good. But when we use it as a channel, it's become on, it's light. When we are not a channel, when we are just doing it for ourselves, it gets off. So when I'm channel of that Sefirah, when I'm channel of that consciousness, it's on for me. When I'm not a channel, when I'm selfish about it, then it's off for me. So look at so many scenarios, so many different consciousness and peoples. We hear in the news, God forbid, there is a shooting in certain place. So in a personal level, there is the 7 bottoms. In a community, there is the 7 combinations. In the cities and in the countries. So when certain families or certain communities, they don't have the right consciousness, and many of those bottoms are off, then the judgment comes upon them. I know it's a little bit complicated, but that's Talmud 10 Sefirot. Welcome to my life. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing consciousness that we can have a life full of sustenance. We can have life full of happiness if we learn to turn on all those factors in our life. I'm going to repeat again what those factors are. This is Ahavat Hashem, love for everything and everybody in our life. Human, animals, vegetation, inanimates, love for everything. This is Yirat Hashem, is the fear of God, in the meaning that I have a fear to make a mistake, to do something wrong. I always have to be aware not to doing wrong. Honestly, when I pick up the phone to have a conversation, I think few times, am I going to say Lashon Hara? Am I going to hurt somebody? So if I see that my conversation won't be productive, I won't make that phone call anymore. Because I want this light to be on, I don't want to turn it off. This one is Rachamim, have mercy for everything and everybody. This one is certainty, to have bitachon and certainty. This one is Shalom, to have peace, and Temimut, to be Tamim, to be simple life. And this one is the Emet, I want to know the truth, I don't want to live on a lie. And the Malchut is Shaflut, means humbleness, the highest level of humbleness. A humble person sees the truth, knows what's belong to him. We have like 5 more minutes left, so we're going to talk about the true love and soulmates. In this portion, in this Torah portion, it's in the Torah, so you don't have to look for it. On a 5th aliyah toward the end, on verse number 67, it says, I'm going to read in English, and Isaac brought her into, talking about Rebekah, into the tent of his mother, Sarah, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. So the Torah says the only known perfect soulmate in the Torah is Isaac and Rebekah. So Isaac says the Torah says Isaac marry Rebekah and then fall in love with her. So it doesn't make sense in our society. Come on, we date, we go out, we look for connection, we look for relationship, we look for chemistry, we look for emotion, we fall in love, and then we make a decision to get married. The Torah is the blueprint of the universe, is the truth, is telling us that the only soulmate that we know, first they got married and then they fall in love. So this is to summarize the class. Isaac married somebody that was belonged to, belonged to. You know, Avraham went through such a struggle to find a wife for his son from his country, from his city, from his family. Something that belonged to us is not in the other side of the planet. Something that belonged to us is with the immediate, you know, I don't want to say family, friends, or whatever, community. The immediate community. You know, we know the best marriages, you know, is like somebody from the same country, the same city, of course, the same religion. Because that's what the Torah says, you know, you need to be with somebody that belongs to you. And, you know, in our society, and we get fooled by emotions, by looks, but what they offer to us, but, you know, we fall for our heart and we fall for our eyes. But the Torah says, you know, we have to look for that soul connection. We have to find something that belongs to us. By the way, this is not only about man and woman, it's about the business, or about the job, or about the friend, or about the house, or about the kenisa, or the class. You want to be in a place that belongs to you. There is a soul connection. You know, that connection that we are looking for, that belongs to us, you don't even have to speak. You don't even have to impress anybody. You don't even have to buy that person. It's just a simple belonging. It's like somebody just is yours, belong to you. True love is very simple. You don't have to, you know, we live in such a city is exactly the opposite of this lesson. You don't have to impress, you don't have to buy it. It's like you don't feel separation. You know, the basic rule of soulmate and husband and wife, or somebody that belongs to you, is that they are one soul, that they got separated, and then in the physical life they have to find each other again. When you find your other half, you don't even have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. It just belongs to you. It's just yours. You know, the word love in Hebrew is ahava. The numerical value is 13, like the word echad, one. So love and one is the same numerical value. The true love is when you feel the oneness, that you are one. And nothing affects this unity. Nothing affects this unification. You and your job, you and your friend, you and your soulmate, you and your class. Nothing gonna affect this unity. It's a simple love. You care about that personal situation. No matter what they're gonna say or what you're gonna do, this is belong to you. You wanna be there. They said the true love is when your five senses don't work anymore. You love somebody not because you see that person, not because you touch that person, not because you hear that person, not because you whatever smell that person. It's a soul connection. It's belong to you. How we can find that person, and I know it's not easy, is by changing ourselves. It's nothing have to do with the outside. We can look for the business, we can look for the friend, we can look for the house, we can look for whatever we are looking for, husband, wife. It's not out there. I have to change something within me. That's what belongs to me is going to come to me. And it comes to you with no effort. Again, I'm going to repeat the lesson. We need to turn on all the buttons of this computer. We need to turn on this computer within us, within the universe. to turn on all positive, all shining. I'm the channel